Hello and welcome to the I Am Her podcast. I am one of the hosts, Abby, and today I'm going to be talking about the power of the brain. And this is something that is very cool to me, and I love learning about the brain. I think the brain is so amazing and so cool. And so I wanted to share my experience about just how powerful the brain is and some of the stuff I've learned throughout my 23 years of life. But I love the brain because it has an incredible ability to adapt, predict, and learn and rewire itself over and over and over again. For me, the main thing that made me realize just how powerful the brain was my own experience with it. And I have experienced a huge difference when I am more focused and more aware of what I am thinking and what I am trying to kind of set into existence, rather than when I'm just kind of going about my life and thinking negatively. The difference is completely drastic, and my life is so much better when I am aware of my thoughts and I am conscious about what I'm saying out loud, what I'm saying to myself, what I'm thinking, because it makes such a huge difference. For example, I want to start off with this study that I learned about like when I was 19 years old, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And it basically put a bunch of plants in a room with a bunch of different people, and there was half of the plants, people would talk to the plants like, "You're so strong, you can do this, you're so powerful, you're such a good plant." And then there was the other half of plants that people did not talk to. And the plants that were talked to with like loving words grew so much more than the other plants, and they like basically flourished. And there is so much truth to like tree hugging and talking to nature. Like if you're talking to a plant that, as far as we know, technically doesn't have a brain, and it grows and flourishes so much more than rather than not talking to it, imagine what that will do to us humans, and we actually do have a brain and a soul. Do you know what I mean? I just think that is so cool. And so I think we need to talk to ourselves just like those people talk to the plants, because imagine how much we can accomplish if we talk to ourselves and push each other and push ourselves to the limit and believe in ourselves. Imagine what we can do. Like, to me, that is just so cool. And I think personally that there is so much that the world, maybe the government, doesn't want us to know about our brains, because I think that we have so much more power than we think. And I think there's so much more that we don't even know. And there's so much more that we don't even know about our brains. And I think that we are actually so much more powerful than we are given credit for. For me, I have a personal experience that really showed me just how powerful my brain is and how powerful everyone's brains are. I was skiing like 3 years ago. I've talked about this a lot, but whatever, I don't care. I was skiing and I slammed into a rock and I broke my spine. And basically, when you break your spinal cord, you're pretty much paralyzed. Like, it severs your nerves. And when a nerve is severed, it is really hard for it to like rewire itself or regenerate. It's pretty much impossible. Like, that just does not happen. And when you are paralyzed, there is no cure for paralysis as of now. I know that there are lots of research, but as of now, there is not a cure for paralysis. And I was told right after it happened that I was not going to walk again, and that I was probably going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if I was on a million painkillers where I just like wasn't affected by that statement. But I heard them say that, and I literally was like, no, like, I'm sorry, but respectfully, no, I'm not going to be. And I literally told myself I was going to do whatever it takes and work as hard as I possibly can to not be in that position, because I am a very active person. I used to be a dancer. I love going to the gym. I still go to the gym. I am very active. I'm not someone who is okay with just like, playing video games all day. And no shade to people who do that. For me, I would go stir crazy, and that does not work for me. I am someone who loves to move my body. And so having that taken away from me was extremely difficult to hear. And I was distraught, of course, but I was very determined to, not do that. or not be in a wheelchair. And it took me a lot of time, but I'm actually not in a wheelchair because, and I fully believe it is because of my brain and the determination I put into myself, believing that that would not happen. And this is not the case for everything. Sometimes things just happen and there's literally nothing you can do about it. Like, I still have a limp. I still have a lot of issues from my spinal cord injury that are probably never going to go away. Actually, I shouldn't think like that as far as what I'm talking about. But sometimes there are just things that happen, and I don't believe that every single thing happens for a reason, because I would never wish that to happen to me or anybody. I think it's horrible. And sometimes things just happen and there truly is nothing you can do about it. And that sucks, but that is life. But in some instances, I don't know. I think sometimes the universe will give you a win. And I think I would have not been able to make it if I was in a wheelchair, to be like completely honest. But basically what I did was I would say out loud, like, I'm not going to. Like, even to the doctors, when they would tell me, oh, you're going to be in a wheelchair, I would literally say, no, I'm not going to. Maybe this is TMI, but when they were telling me about how I would have to pee because it also severs like your bladder, and so it makes going to the bathroom like completely different. You have to do all these different things. I would tell the doctors and the nurses, like, well, I'm not going to have to do that because mine's coming back. And they would be like, okay, so no. And I would be like, nope, it's coming back. So you can go ahead and go. And I did get actually some function back that I'm still working on, but my main goal was I just wanted to be able to walk. I didn't care if I had a limp. I didn't care if I had to use crutches. And I was planning in my head, I'm probably going to have to use crutches, but I'm actually able to walk today unassisted. I do have a limp, and I have a lot of issues and it hurts sometimes, but I'm just so grateful that I'm alive and that I can walk. But just saying it out loud, like, no, I'm going to walk again. I'm going to do this stuff, and telling the doctors, telling everybody, my family, my friends, like, oh, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. I think that made a huge difference. And I truly believed, like, in my soul, that I was going to walk again. I truly believed that. And I think that's what made it happen for me. I 100% knew that that was going to happen because I did not doubt myself. I put my full power and my full belief in myself, and that is what changed things for me, I believe. And every single night I would listen to visualization meditations, and I would visualize myself walking and running and doing all of these things again. And I never missed a night. I looked forward to it. I was listening to positive music, like only like motivational music. I literally made a playlist on Spotify called I Will Walk Again. And every time I look at that playlist, I am filled with like overwhelming pride for myself, because I'm like, yeah, I made that happen from nothing. When people told me that I was probably not going to be able to do that, I literally proved everyone wrong and I did it. And then I'm like, you know what? Yes, I am so powerful. And if I can do that, it doesn't just have to be with serious life-changing things, it can be with anything. Like, then I was like, you know what? My brain is powerful. I can do literally anything I put my mind to, and I can make anything happen that I want to. I deserve to live my dream life, and so I'm going to make it happen. And it might take a minute, it might take a while, but I know that I'm capable because I made something seemingly impossible happen for myself. So what else that's impossible can you make happen for yourself? But yeah, recovering from that injury and going through that was extremely hard, and it was one of the hardest times in my life, but it also taught me so much about myself and so much about my strength and everything that I can and will accomplish in the future as well. But I knew that I was going to be able to do it. And this is sounding like a stupid biography, and I'm not trying to be like, this is my story, I'm so amazing. I just wanted to share that because I know from experience what you can do with your brain if you really, really want it. But you do have to like be consistent, and you have to truly believe in yourself. You can't just say it and then kind of doubt yourself. And it takes practice, but you have to 100% believe in yourself. because I believe in you and I know for sure you can fucking do it. Another reason why the brain is so powerful is neuroplasticity, because the brain can rewire itself. Like every time, because the brain rewires itself and repetition will strengthen those new pathways that are growing and taking place in your brain. Like new habits physically change your brain. And I think that's why neuroplasticity is so cool, because it literally is changing your own like DNA based on what you do. Like, for example, the more you put in a habit of, let's say you work out every morning, that is changing those pathways. And it's like, I work out every morning and it's just something that you do and it just becomes the new reality. But the problem is, negative things can also change those. If you kind of like are constantly telling yourself that you are a sad person, that you know, are unlovable or you're ugly, it's literally changing those pathways in your brain to make you believe that you are that way. And that's a lot of times not the truth. And so why would we overthink and spend our precious energy and thoughts worrying about negative things when we could shift it into positive things? And boom, suddenly all of these beautiful things are changing because your brain is rewiring itself to be more positive or more happy. And that's easier said than done. I'm not just saying pretend you're happy and you're going to be happy, but like kind of, you know what I'm saying? For example, if you believe, okay, people always leave me, your brain will search for evidence and it will be like, well, you told me this is true, so I'm going to search and find out and make sure that this actually is true. And you're not consciously doing it, but you're subconsciously doing it. And so you're going to be subconsciously looking for people who are leaving your life. And sure, maybe there are a few people who leave, but there are always going to be people who leave. That doesn't mean that you always get left. Because think about all the people who stay. There are so many people who came into your life as well, or people who have stayed or been with you this whole entire time. And I am someone who has done this. I have literally said to myself, you know, everybody always abandons me. I have abandonment issues. Everybody abandons me. And yes, I have been abandoned and I do have abandonment issues. But I am not taking into account all of the people, all of the beautiful people who I have in my life who have stayed with me throughout all of the bad versions of myself, who have been with me through hell and through high water, and all of the new beautiful people who have entered my life, my new friends and new connections that I love so much. Like, of course, if I'm spending all of my time thinking about all the people who left and all the people who are not in my life anymore, I'm going to think, you know, everybody leaves. Everybody just always leaves me and I'm always going to be alone. But it's like, no, 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 no. There are so many beautiful people in your life. And so you have to take that into account and focus on the good. And it sounds so cheesy, but focusing on the good will literally rewire those neural pathways and you will look for good things. Your brain will look for that evidence and you will see all of these amazing, beautiful things happening around you. And it just becomes your new reality and you just notice it more and more of that love and joy will pour into your life. So bringing in these new habits and these new things that we want to incorporate into our life can be hard, and it does take time. It's not just gonna like happen overnight. But take this for example. Imagine there is like this mountain trail that you walk every day, and the first day you walk it, so to speak, you're trying, you know, build a new habit. It's really hard. It's like a super hard hike and you finish and you're exhausted. But if you do that every single day, by like the end of the month, it's just going to be a little trail and you're going to mindlessly be doing it. That goes with everything in our life. Practice makes perfect, or practice doesn't make perfect, but what's that saying? Whatever. Consistency over perfection. But the more you do things, the easier it gets. The more you speak amazing things into existence and the more you believe in yourself and tell yourself that you are powerful, you are capable, and you have the power to build your dream life, the more your brain actually believes that because you're saying it, and the more it happens. Therefore, boom, you are building your dream life right in front of you. That's why self-talk is so, so important. Like just being kind to yourself and saying nice things to yourself makes a huge difference. And this is something that I am working on right now because I am kind of going through a period where I I was like using the people leave all the time as like an example, but that's something that I have been working through and, you know, trying to comfort myself because I am in a place where I'm like, wow, people kind of do abandon me. Okay, that sounds so cringe, but I'm trying to focus on the people who are in my life and who have stayed in my life. And me working through that and comforting myself and telling myself that I am lovable and I am a good person. I just have to wait for the right person or right people, so to speak, because if I just sit here and feel sorry for myself, all I'm going to do is notice the things that I'm sad about. And I'm just going to sit here and be sad. But if I rewire my brain and tell myself, no, I have a lot to live for. There are amazing things going on in my life. And by the way, I'm happy. I'm not like crazy depressed right now or anything. I'm just explaining this kind of bad. See, and now I'm just like, should I just scrap this all? But it's like, no. You have to stay and think on the positive thoughts, okay? Because your brain is always going to search for evidence, and you're going to find that whether you do it consciously or subconsciously. But the number one thing that I feel like helps me the most, and my favorite way of like manifesting or, you know, using the power of my brain is visualization. Your brain cannot tell the difference between real and imagined. That's why visualization is so important, because your brain literally doesn't know. If you imagine, you know, your dream life and visualize it and visualize, you know, mainly good things happening to you, your brain literally believes that, and then your body is going to listen to that. Therefore, it kind of comes into place a lot easier. And of course, you can't just, you know, lay down and sleep and visualize your dream life and then it's there. You do have to put some action into it, but manifestation with visualization paired with action, mwah, chef's kiss. You're gonna get your dream life. I like to visualize all the time. And you know that like fever state when you're sick and you're kind of like halfway asleep but halfway awake? That is like the key. And I know Joe Dispenza and Neville Goddard, I believe, have both talked about, you know, that state and how powerful it is to manifest. And I think it's in the book How to Become Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. He talks a lot more about that and kind of dives deeper into manifesting and making things your reality. So if you are more interested in this, I would really recommend reading that book because I know it's very good for things like that. But visualization, and it doesn't have to be just when you're in that state, you know, it can be anytime. I like to visualize as my morning routine. I say my affirmations and then I visualize my dream life, and it's a habit for me where I always do it. And so I'm very clear on what I want. And you do have to be like pretty specific when you visualize, because otherwise your brain's not really going to know what it is. Like, you can't be vague. You really do have to be very specific on what it is you want. And it's okay if you don't know what you want. Like, nobody really knows exactly every single thing that they want, you know, and we change as people, we change, but be as specific as you can with not only your affirmations, but your visualizations, and it will be a lot easier for it to kind of come into reality. But you do have to put in some effort and some action paired with that. And you don't have to just go full blown. Like, you can take it at your own pace, of course. And I know I was talking about, you know, thinking of positive things and focusing on positive things, and that really does make a huge difference. And that's why I wanted to talk about gratitude, because when you feel gratitude and when you are grateful, it literally releases, I'm pretty sure, serotonin and dopamine, and it calms your nervous system when you feel grateful. And something that I do is every single morning I write down in my gratitude journal things that I'm grateful for, and it does put the whole day honestly into perspective. I'm like, you know what, I literally have so much to be happy about. Like, there are people who would kill to have my life, and that, I don't say that to sound cocky, but there are people in other countries who are just fighting to survive. Like, we really do have it so much better than we think. And when you think about people who are dying and who have like really horrible things going on, it really puts things into perspective, and you realize how lucky we all actually are. And it kind of makes our problem seem so small in the grand scheme of things. But I love to gratitude journal. It makes me so happy. And then also it also sets the pace for the whole day. And throughout the whole day, I'm thinking about things that I'm grateful for and things that light me up inside and make me happy. And I notice that more. The more you practice gratitude, the more you notice all these amazing good things that are currently in your life. Because that is true for me. The more that I am grateful and I'm like, wow, I am so lucky, the happier I am, and the more I notice good things happening in my life, and the more good things seem to happen as well. Like, I'm pretty sure gratitude is the strongest frequency. Oh wait, I think it's second after authenticity. I think authenticity is the strongest frequency, and then gratitude comes in second. But gratitude is a very, very powerful emotion, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. But I promise you, the more you practice gratitude and the more you realize, hey, I kind of have like the dream life that I used to dream about right now, you deserve to let that sink in and be present in it, because we all go through phases of our life and they're gonna end. Why not sit back and enjoy the moment, because eventually it's gonna come to an end. The only thing that's inevitable in this life is change. So it's important that we are grateful for where we are in our life right now, because we always look back at our past and be like, you know what, that was actually so fun, or I actually looked so good and I thought I looked bad. I know I've experienced that so many times. Like, let's enjoy the moment we are now, because one day it's not going to be here anymore, and let's be grateful for it too. But gratitude changes what your brain pays attention to. And I don't know about you guys, but I would much rather pay attention to good things and notice good things happening in life than always focusing on the bad and seeing bad things going on around me, because that is not going to create your dream life. Because then it's just going to find that as evidence and be like, yep, I'm not deserving of a dream life, or this is just how my life goes. But that does not have to be the way it goes, truly. And I want you to know that you are so capable and you are so powerful, more than you give yourself credit for and more than you know. I'm sure that you have done amazing things and accomplished so much, and you're not giving yourself the proper credits. You deserve to feel proud of yourself, and I want you to know you are so strong and you are capable of bringing things into fruition. You are a powerful manifester, but you have to believe that yourself. And if you want, you guys should comment things that you want to manifest down in the comments below. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm sorry if this was all over the place. I feel like I say that every time. But if you liked the podcast, please rate it, and please follow us on TikTok and Instagram. And we're so happy you're here. Thank you.